What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NBA Friday, March 15th. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's NBA slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Real quick, guys, I just want to show you one of the lineups that I made yesterday using players from our NBA cheat sheet. So we scored a 357.6. It was 9th place. So we had Norman Powell as one of our FanDuel punt plays. We have a list of those players right on the cheat sheet. We have low salary drop players with upside. Norman Powell was there, so I plugged him in, and he was the key to the lineup. He scored 41.6 fantasy points. We had Paul Millsap as a smash play. He scored 50.1. So make sure to try Draft Dashboard and get into that NBA cheat sheet and check out those players on the list. More often than not, the players on that list are going to smash value. So it's a great tool to cut down your research time and put you on to some of the best plays on the slate. Okay, let's take a look at the point guard position. I like Chris Dunn from the Chicago Bulls playing the LA Clippers, who have the 6th worst defense overall, and they give up the 4th most fantasy points to opposing point guards. Chris Dunn has scored 43, 17, and 26 fantasy points in the last 3 games, averaging 28.5 fantasy points per game on the season in an average of 31 minutes per game with a 20% usage rate. Chris Dunn is $5,400 DraftKings salary. He's $800 more on FanDuel, so I love that DraftKings price. Projected at 29.5 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.5 times value. There's an implied total of 228.5 points in this game. And although Zach LaVine is scheduled to come back today, I still think Chris Dunn can get it done in this great matchup. Chris Dunn has scored 36 and 31 fantasy points in his last 2 games versus the Clippers. He's only going to be 1% owned. That's super low ownership. Now that LaVine is back, everyone's going to be off of Chris Dunn, and that's why I like this pick. So I like Chris Dunn here versus the LA Clippers. Remember, we added projected ownership, and that will be updating throughout the day as injury news changes. We also added the fantasy points per minute stat here for each player. And we also added a stat that's new to the industry. We call it the hit percentage, and it's the percent chance this player has to hit value at his current DFS salary. And you can access all these new stats even on mobile devices by tapping the dash rank icon. Okay, who do we have at the shooting guard position? I like James Harden from the Houston Rockets playing the Phoenix Suns, who have the 2nd worst defense overall, and they give up the 10th most fantasy points to opposing shooting guards. James Harden has scored 55, 58, and 33 fantasy points in his last 3 games, averaging 61.7 fantasy points per game on the season in an average of 37 minutes per game with a 41% usage rate. James Harden is $11,000 DraftKings salary. He's $1,500 more on FanDuel, projected at 59.5 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.4 times value. There's an implied total of 225 points in this game. This is a home game for James Harden, a fantastic matchup. I haven't been playing a lot of James Harden lately. I almost never pick him in my video, but I'm picking him today mostly because of this team history versus the Suns. James Harden scored 72, 59, 58, and 68 fantasy points in his last 4 games versus the Suns. That's really good player versus team history for a guy that's got a 100-point ceiling. It's a home game, fast-paced game, fantastic matchup. I love James Harden here versus the Phoenix Suns. Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the position optimizer where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new player trends tool where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, who do we have at the small forward position? I like Jabari Parker from the Washington Wizards playing the Charlotte Hornets, who have the 9th worst defense overall, and they give up the 5th most fantasy points to opposing small forwards. Jabari Parker has scored 33, 29, and 33 fantasy points in his last 3 games, averaging 27.4 fantasy points per game on the season in an average of 27 minutes per game with a 24% usage rate. Jabari Parker is $5,800 DraftKings salary. He's the same price on FanDuel, so I love that FanDuel price. I really thought I'd never say that again the way they've been pricing these players, so it looks like they missed this one. You gotta take advantage of it. Projected at 27.9 fantasy points here tonight, he's gonna need about 29 fantasy points to hit 5 times value. There's an implied total of 232 points in this game. This is a home game, a fast-paced game, fantastic matchup. I love this spot for Jabari Parker here tonight versus the Charlotte Hornets, especially on FanDuel. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $100 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won, and then we'll send you $100 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. Okay, who do we have at the power forward position? Not Blake Griffin, who's projected to be 29% owned. Ouch. At 7,700 DraftKings salary, I do see the appeal with Blake Griffin, but he has been terrible the last 2 games. Of course, this is a big bounce back spot. Just hard to trust him, so I'm not going to pick him here. I'm going with Tobias Harris from the Philadelphia 76ers playing the Sacramento Kings, who have the 7th worst defense overall, and they give up the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing power forwards. Tobias Harris has scored 25, 36, and 34 fantasy points in the last 3 games, averaging 37.3 fantasy points per game on the season in an average of 35 minutes per game with a 23% usage rate. Tobias Harris is $7,200 DraftKings salary. He's $300 less on FanDuel, so I love that FanDuel price. Hey, I said it again. Another one they missed. There's an implied total of 233 points in this game. That's a huge total. Tobias Harris is coming off of a bad game. It's going to keep his ownership down. He's only projected at 2% ownership, so I think that's a smash tournament play. Hey, you can go Blake Griffin if you want at 29% ownership. I think there's a lot of other ways you can go. So that's why I love Tobias Harris here versus the Sacramento Kings. Okay, moving on to the center position. I like Joel Embiid from the Philadelphia 76ers playing the Sacramento Kings, who have the 7th worst defense overall, and they give up the 10th most fantasy points to opposing centers. Joel Embiid has scored 57 and 53 fantasy points in his 2 games back from injury, averaging 54.6 fantasy points per game on the season in an average of 34 minutes per game with a 33% usage rate. Joel Embiid is $9,900 DraftKings salary. He's $1,000 more on FanDuel, projected at 51.7 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.2 times value. There's an implied total of 233 points in this game. This is a smash spot for Joel Embiid. I don't mind stacking him with Tobias Harris. They can both thrive in this matchup. I love Joel Embiid here versus the Sacramento Kings. If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smickety smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.